BookTube, and I am Sarah. This is Aussie SFF, and today I'm coming at you with a review. I was approached by the author of this book to give a review through the Esme Weatherwax blog, and I will link that down below. That she has set up a reviewer's log so that people can indie authors can approach reviewers to review their book. This book was the first one that I actually was approached about, and this was Windcatcher by A.J. Norfield. It had a lot of potential, but unfortunately I had to DNF it, and I'm going to go into why. So the main premise of this book that I could discern from the amount that I read was that there is a band of employed mercenaries who were going into a enemy territory to retrieve a very important artifact. So this was the start of the book. This sounded amazing. I was assured that because I put it in there were dragons involved. Sounds great. The bit where I started to come unstuck was the constant and incessant exposition in world building that I found really distracting and off-putting. The introductory chapter for this book centered in a monastery in the mountains, and the monk that we wake up with is telling us how he used to be very strong, but now he's arthritic, and the younger monks do things a lot quicker than him, and he's looking out over his garden and thinking about his peaceful spaces, and etc., etc. This was fine. I thought this was okay. However, we were in this space with this monk in order to introduce a massacre, and he is getting up, getting ready, not hearing any screams, not smelling any smoke, and we get a full description of his garden and the surrounds, and I really was shocked because we got some insight into this character who was basically going to die. Then we move on to chapter 1, and we get another character who is standing in the rain in the very early hours of the morning, waiting for a dawn raid on a army train. They have decided to attack at dawn because it'll give them the most edge, etc. However, in between being introduced to this character and them getting to the dawn raid, we hear about the land surrounds, the political situation between who these people are employed by and who the army belongs to, the history of the war that's been going on between these two countries, and all sorts of ridiculous backstory that doesn't need to be said. I much prefer a fantasy world where we're thrown into the thick of it and we've got to work out what's going on, the same as the characters. And these sorts of stories can come out as the setting unfolds, rather than giving us full descriptions, I kid you not, of a valley and then a river system going off onto the coast that they've been trying to map for 200 years and they've given up. I don't care less than 10% into a book the history of mapping, of cartography of a region. I don't care. If you want me to care about the map, put a map at the front of the book. Another pet peeve I have is the apostrophes in names. make it easy for us to remember who they are. You've got 15 new characters. Make it a little bit easier. You're not Anne McCaffrey. You can't get away with it. The next one is saying that someone who is highly trained as a mercenary or a warrior type character instinctively moves. Of course they instinctively move. I'm trained as a teacher. I instinctively scan my room for kids chewing gum, but that's what I've been trained to do. You don't need to tell me they've instinctively moved. I'm assuming that's what they have trained for. The last one that really was the nail in the coffin was once we finally got to the Dawn raid, 3 chapters in, there was a death and there was a grievous injury caused to 2 of the characters that were on the side that we were viewing the events from. However, we also got a laundry list of every scratch and bruise every character in their side got. It was you killed people on the other side. Of course there's scratches and bruises and different levels of injuries. I don't need to know about all of them. I need to know about the trampling death from frightened horses. I need to know about the broken leg because that means that character is no longer able to walk. I understand why the author would do these sorts of things and want to explain every single piece of information that they have in their head, because they've thought this world up and they've had this world living in their head and they want to get it across to us, the reader, and have it as magnificent for us as it is for them. But as a reader, it is a very clunky and pretentious way to have a world unfolded for us. We don't need all of that explanation because we live in the world as well. Unfortunately, I had to DNF it, which made me quite sad because I really did want to like this because I'd had some talk with the author. I was also quite sad because it was the first one that I had and I really did want to love it. I won't give it a star rating because I didn't read the whole thing, but I'm very sad that I didn't. So thank you very much. If you found this useful, give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments for me, please hit me up in the comment section below. Try to remember reading books is a opinion-based activity. If I don't like something, you might like it. And don't forget to subscribe and happy reading. Bye!